Hello, and today, this is David Craig, and today I'm going to work with the Ubuntu server, and I will be performing three tasks. I will be adding a web server to Ubuntu, which is called Apache2. I'll be creating two new users and adding them to the server. They will be known as user number 3. One will have read and execution privileges. The other will be user number 4. It will have read, write, and execution privileges. I'll also be creating a shared folder for the two new users to access. So to begin with, I've already got Ubuntu fired up, and when you're doing this, you also want to go ahead and have your pfSense powered on because that's the router for your virtual network. And Ubuntu, in order to boot, has to communicate with the outside web. Plus, for us to install this Apache2 Webserver, it will need to access the internet. So I'm going to go ahead and log on. My credentials. Hopefully it took them. Uh-oh, let's see. Okay, there you go. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we want to see if there are any updates that are available from Linux since we created or installed this machine last week. So to do that, we're going to use the sudo command, which means that you're an approved or authorized user. And we're going to type sudo, and we're going to type apt get, which is letting you know you want it to pull down or get something. And we're going to type update. It's going to ask me for my credentials. There you go. So now it's pulling down all of the updates that are available that have been created since last week. Now while we're waiting on that to download, the next thing that we're going to be doing is actually installing the Apache2 server. So we're back to the command prompt, and now we're going to type, by using the sudo command again, which authorized user, we're going to type apt get Apache 2. Apt get install, and we're telling it we want to install Apache2 web server. Okay, so you can see here that web server was installed and it is running. So the next thing we want to do is to create a folder for my users to access, and I will name this folder Doinkenstein. And we'll accomplish this task by entering the command mkdir, which is make directory Doinkenstein. Okay, so we've created the folder. Now we want to go ahead, and we can see that we've created this folder by typing in the command ls-l, and there you go. It shows you that folder has been created. Next thing we want to do is we want to add our users. So again, we're going to use our sudo command. We want to add user is the command, Linux command, and we'll user number 3. Okay, it's asking for a password. We'll provide that for it. And we'll reply and do it again. And we're not worried about any of this. This is just for our internal test environment. But if you were in a big network company, you'd want to fill out all of these fields so that you would be able to track people. This information is correct. We're back to the command prompt, and now we're ready to add our second user. And we'll use a sudo command, and we'll Linux command add user, and we'll add user 4. Okay. Password again, it's asking us for it. Okay, same thing. We'll go through, we won't fill out these fields, but all the information is correct. We'll hit yes, and we're back to the command line. Now I want to set the permissions for each user. Let me explain the permissions. The permissions are set up in Linux using numbers, series of numbers. You've got the read command, which is a 4, or the write command, which is a 4, the read command, which is a 2, and the execute command, which is a 1. And whichever one you want to assign, like it's a series of 3, 4 numbers, excuse me. And so you can you like your first your so I'm going to assign user number 3 the read and execute commands. So I will use the sudo command home / user 3. Okay, so that's done that. So now we're going to add user 4, which will have read, write, and execute permissions. So the different number will be different on that because the write is an additional 3 added in there. So let's go ahead and add sudo command change mode 770 / home / user 4. Okay, we're done with that. Now we need to create some groups. And I think that in order for this to work correctly, I need to create 2 groups, one for each user, and attach it to the folder, because you cannot set individual permissions for users within a group, not that I have found. So the easiest way I found to do this, I think, is going to be adding these 2 groups. We'll see when we get to the end. But to go add a group, you use a sudo command to start out with. You add group, and the name of the group we're going to use for user number 3 is Doinkster. Okay, and adding the group Doinkster is done. Now we can type in the command ls ls -al, and you can see that the group Doinkster has been created. So now we want to add user number 3 to the group Doinkster. So we're going to go use the command sudo add user, then we'll use add user 3, and then we'll give it the group name. Okay, that's done. Now we need to create another group, and we're going to create this one for user number 4, and we're going to name that group Doinket. So we're going to use a sudo command. We're going to add group, and we're going to name it Doinket. And it's added. Now we want to add user number 4 to their group. So we'll do the same thing again. We'll have sudo add user command, the username, and the group name. Group to the folder with the following entry: sudo change group, and you see that it accepted. We changed our group and added it to the folder Doinkenstein. So we're going to do this for the second group also. Sudo okay, now we've done that, and let's type in the ls-l command. You can see that Doinkenstein is there, and that I have read-write execute privileges, and user number 4, which is group Doinket, has read-write execute privileges. So we've got our privileges set, we've got our folders added, we've got our web server added, and we've added our users to our group and attached the group to the folder, or the two groups to the folder. In order to view the groups that we've created, just for both groups we created, just for information-wise, we can use the command cat etc.home, which is the path to your root folder, your home folder. What did we do? Oh, I see what I did. It's cat.etc.group. Okay, and if you look, you'll see that you've got user 3, user 4, you've got Doinkster, you've got Doinket. So you've got your users and your groups all listed here in the 4 previous lines above where the command prompt currently is. Now we'll take a look to show that our folder was also created, and we do that by typing the command ls, let me get my cursor back over here, ls-l. So Doinkestein is the folder, and then back up this way, above, like 4 lines above, you'll see we've got our users and our 2 groups created, and they've been added to the file Doinkestein. I forgot the command. I had it written down and can't find it. That would allow us to open the Doinkestein folder to see what groups were attached. But they're there. It's done. We have successfully added a web server, which is Apache 2, onto Ubuntu Server. We have created a shared folder. We have created 2 new users, one with read and execute rights and one with read-write execute rights. I've also created 2 groups, one for each user, in order to attach them to the folder so that they can access the shared folder Doinkestein. That is all. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on our next task.